Welcome. In this video, I'm going to go over how to play the solo version of Shadowrun Sprawl Ops and go through a few turns to show the basics of gameplay. All right, for this setup example, I'll be setting up for a one-player game. And also, while the board does have specific places around the board to put the cards, due to space constraints, I'll be finding on-board alternatives for this. So the first item is to choose a game board and put that in the middle of your play area. Since I'm setting up for a solo playthrough, I'm using the Toronto play board. Then each player will select a runner board. I've chosen the Wrecking Crew down on the bottom, but they are all the same, just giving you 4 locations to put your runners on. So grab your 3 starting runners. For this game, I have chosen Sledge to be my samurai, Sheena to be my decker, and the Neon Tusk to be my face person. And each player would get their own set of each, the samurai, decker, and face cards. Just a different person, all with the same dice abilities. You have options of using the basic standees for the characters, labeled 1, 2, 3, and 4 for the spaces on the board, or you can use the specific standees for each of the characters. Then randomly choose who your first player will be, and in a one-player game, it's going to be randomly be me. Each player will then get 20 million. So I'll split that up, giving myself 3 5s and then 5 1s down here. We'll place the other tokens just around the board or within reach. Since the dock wagon tokens can be getting at the dock wagon location, I've just put them next there to there for convenience. And I've got injured and recovering, one for each of my characters. We'll then take the upgrade cards and separate those by type. So we have all the comm links together in a stack, the dream links together in a stack, and then there's going to be a unique stack and then also dermal plating. And I'll place those on the board near the athletic center because that's where we will be able to purchase those upgrades. Then, depending on the amount of players, we'll reveal 1 card each of the gear, runners, and missions. So we'll shuffle each of those decks. So for this, we'll be starting with a map soft gear location. And I'll just place that on the board. For our runners, we'll pick out 1 runner for us. So we've got Sauron. And then for the mission cards, just randomize those a little and pull out our first mission. 3 hits for the price of 1. And those are the steps for the basic setup. For co-op, we'll place the Black Lodge board on the table. Then we'll set out the 12 Black Lodge mission cards, give those a shuffle, put those on the board, and then for that, we'll also just set out 1 card that we'll start with. Then we'll take the 8 event cards and shuffle those up and set them to the side. We'll put the field agent and special agent tokens on the board. So all the field agents, when you flip those over, there's just going to be 1 symbol on those sides. And the special agents look the same on the back. When you flip those over, there's going to be 2 icons on each of those. And depending on the setup, since I'm playing just 1 player, we're going to remove all these but 1 of the field agents. So we'll just keep that one in play and remove the rest of them from the game. And now we are set up for gameplay. Our goal is to complete all 12 of these missions before either the influence track moves over to the takeover spot, or we need to place an agent token on the board and there's none in our pool to choose from. At its heart, this game is a worker placement dice push your luck game. We'll be taking our runners, placing them in different places on the board to strengthen our characters up, to eventually defeat all these missions. In the base game, there's 4 phases to a round. First phase, we'll be placing our runners on the board. Second phase, we'll be attempting final mission phase. That's in the base game. For the co-op version, we'll be attempting Black Lodge plot missions. Phase 3 will be running normal missions that we can acquire through the game. Phase 4 will be upkeeps, returning our characters back to our game board, dealing with recovering, injured, and remodifying the board for cards not chosen or replacing cards that were purchased. And then in the solo or cooperative, we'll go to the Black Lodge phase, where the Black Lodge will gain influence, and then we will resolve an event deck card. So let's go ahead and get started, and I'll explain the locations as we explore on the board. So for phase 1, we'll be placing runners. I'll start off putting the Neon Tusk over at Red Ryan's Roundup, where I can hire runners. And at this location, when I send a face runner, calls for half price. So up here, we can see what type of runner this is. So we can see he's a street samurai and a mage. He'll provide me with 2 samurai dice and 1 mage die when making mission runs. Cost is 12,000. And when I send him out for hire, I will get 3,000 money for him. So since I can get half price, I'll spend 6,000. He will not immediately become available. He'll stay beside my board, and then during upkeep, I'll add him to my group. Then I go ahead and send Sledge over to Honest Ed's to buy some gear. So this gear, I can only attach to a decker, but it will provide me with 1 rigger die. It's going to cost 4,000 nuyen, and it's going to up the higher value when I send its owner to Macy Hall. So I can hold on to that. I'll put the gear underneath my runner. And you see it meets the criteria for attaching it. And then whenever I go to use this, I can just go down the list and see the amount of dice that I'm adding. Each runner can have an unlimited amount of gear, and you can swap these out between other runners pretty much whenever you want to, unless you're on a mission. So once you start a mission, gear is locked on the character it's on. Then I will send Sheena over to do a security sweep. So this is a type of mission where I can be injured, but it will not result in death. I need to get 2 rigger successes. As I mentioned, my dice pool is going to be 2 green dice and 1 purple. So we'll put this out here. So each die is going to have 2 successes on it, and then 1 injury. We can use successes to cancel out injuries, but we'd more rather use successes to meet our mission goal. So we'll go ahead and roll our dice and see what we get. So we have 1 success that we can count. We need 2. So we'll bank that, and just to help remember, I'll set this to the side. Kind of like Yahtzee, we have 3 rolls to get this right, and even if we have other successes, we still get to roll our full allotment of dice. So unfortunately, that doesn't do anything for us. So we have 1 more roll to try to succeed at this. All right, so we have 2 successes and an injury. We'll use 1 of these successes to block out that injury. And then this will get our 2 successes on our location, which will get us 4,000 money, so I'll give us a 5 and put some change back in the bank. The second phase is going to be attempting Black Lodge plot missions. We currently don't have anyone in that location to attempt, and before we can attempt this, we'll need to be able to flip it over. So we're going to need to find agents in the field matching these icons to interrogate the agents at this location, put them on this card, then we can flip it over and see how nasty this mission will be. So phase 3 is running missions. We didn't send anyone over to see Mr. Johnson, so this mission was not obtained. Missions purchased will need to be resolved at the end of the round, so we cannot hold on to those. So then we move to upkeep phase. We return our runners to our game board. If we had any recovering tokens on our characters, we would remove that from the game or from the board. And if we had any injured markers on our characters, we would flip that over to recovery. We'll place newly acquired runners on our board. So Sauron comes into play. And his standee. If we had any dock wagon tokens, we'd put those back to the supply. In multiplayer games, you rotate first player token to the left. Then we will discard any unclaimed runners, gears, and missions. So we just have 1 mission to be discarded. And then we will replace those. So our new mission coming out is interrupt the grand summoning. we could fulfill these missions. We'd earn that amount of money. Another character coming out, we have Twitch. Here. And for gear, we have pistols that we'd have to acquire to our decker. Then we'd cycle our unique upgrade cards. So just move these a little closer. So the martial arts card will now move down, and now we have access to initiation. And when we go purchase gears, we can give that to anyone. Upgrades have to go to the runner that you put on that location. Now for the Black Lodge phase, count up the number of agents on the board, divide by 2, and round up and move the influence up. There's no agents on the field, so nothing happens there. But never fear. Now we'll go to the event phase, and agents will magically appear. So for this, choose 2 agents anywhere on the board and move them to these icons represent locations on the board. So we're just going to pick a random agent and put 1 agent on this location. And that location happens to be the dock wagon. They will go face down, so we have to go there and engage them before we see what we're fighting. And that concludes round 1. So we keep doing this until we are strong enough to defeat these special missions. So since we know agents are bad for the influence down here, we want to have someone go take care of that. So to help build that up, we're going to take Neon Tusk, go over to Honest Ads, and there still has the deal. If you send one of the face characters, it's a half price. So instead of 8K, we're going to spend 4K on this, getting 1 back from the bank. And then we will go ahead and attach this to Sheena, getting her powered up. So now when she fights, we'll be getting 2 black dice, 2 green dice, and 1 purple die for missions. And we will go ahead and send her down to the dock wagon to engage with this token. So we'll flip this open. And we see we need a face die for this to be acquired. So our dice pool is 2 black, 2 green, and a purple. So no reds. So 2 of the same icon of any color will give you 1 of an icon you desire. So we're hoping to get either dub greens or dub blacks on this to get our red. And we've got 3 rolls to do it. So let's go ahead and see what happens. So for our first roll, we end up getting 2 of the same. We'll convert those over to a red. Then we'll put this token next to our game board. And once we get enough, we can go interrogate these agents to put towards these cards to flip the cards over. Then interacting with the dock wagon, we get 1 token, which can help prevent a character from death. We'll then send Sledge over to Mr. Johnson to get a mission for us to try here shortly. Then I'm going to move Sauron down to the dock wagon, so he'll get a token also. And the reason why I'm doing that, I want him to go on our mission, and certain locations will not allow runners at those spots to participate on those missions. So placing the runners phase is complete. We don't have anyone there to attempt the Black Lodge mission. So now we are going to run this mission. I'm going to choose all our runners to go on it. For the second area, this is an optional run we can go on. So if we do it and succeed, we'll get a loot card, or we can just skip it and do the first and third missions. So we'll see how things are going for the first one. And for each run, we'll get 3 rolls of the die. So I'll get my dice tray out here. I won't do this for every turn, but as we get started, I'll just show you. So for his dice pool, he's adding 2 black dice. And we've got Sheena, who's loaded up. She'll be providing 2 black dice, 2 green, and a purple. Neon Tusk providing 1 red die. And Sauron providing 2 black and a blue. And so for our first one, we're looking for 2 blacks and 2 blues. So take our dice pool and give them a rolls. Put all the blanks to one side, injuries to another. We can see we've got the 2 blacks to take care of the first portion, and we'll use these 2 to counter the 2 injuries. So we're halfway done with the first one. For the second roll, get our blanks to the side, injuries. Oops. And there, we didn't do anything except block injuries. So now we need to get lucky. So we've got 1 injury. Oops, that was a success. So we have 1 blue success, and we can take these 2 black successes to turn into a blue. So we will have finished the first run. So now I'm going to go ahead and attempt the optional one. We need 2 greens and 1 blue. You can see we've got the 2 greens right there, and we can use these 2 blacks to get the blue. So we've succeeded there. So we'll draw a loot card. So we've got Psych. We can get +1 blue die this stage, so that we can keep that and use that when things get dicey. And for the last stage, we need 1 black and 2 blues. So we'll see if we can get lucky again. So we've got 2 injuries. We'll use a red and a black to take care of the injuries and roll over 1 black success. And now we just need 2 blue successes for our second roll here. We have 1 injury and 2 blacks. We'll use this black to cancel that, and there's nothing else we can do for that roll. And for our final roll, got a whole lot of injuries here. We've got 1 blue die. We could use these 2 to create a second, and then with 1 success, but then we've got 3 injuries coming through. So instead of succeeding, we're just going to block these damages, and we will fail at this mission run. But no one's going to get injured, and more importantly, no one's going to get killed. Because if we didn't block these wounds here, we have to assign these wounds to runners that actually produce those dice. And we only have 1 runner producing the green dice, so with 2 injuries, that would be death for her. And we don't want that yet. So we will fail that mission run. Then go to the upkeep phase and bring our people back home. We're not dealing with recovering or injured. No new runners. And actually, I forgot I had 2 dock wagon tokens, so we will go ahead and succeed at that mission. May go back 1 step. Sorry about that. So the way that would have worked for Sheena, we would have placed 2 injury tokens on her, which would have killed her. So instead of doing that, we'll place 1 dock wagon token on her card with 1 injury. Then after the mission, we can take our second dock wagon token and put on her and clean off her injury. And then gain our 20,000 yen for completing the mission. We'll return our dock wagon tokens, as they turned out to be extremely useful in this situation. Then we'll discard all non-purchased cards and replace them. So the new gear coming up, so the Smart Link system. Need to go to our samurai, and it's going to give them 2 Decker dice. Next mission, a Space Needle Escort, so that'll get us 20,000 money. And new runner, Magdalene, 2 base icons, 1 of each die. Then go to the influence phase, since we don't have any agents in the field. Influence will not go up, and then on to an event card. choose 2 agents anywhere on the board and take them to this location. Since we don't have any agents on the board, that doesn't matter. So now we'll place 1 agent, which is now going to be the special agents. It has 2 icons on the back of them. And this will go up to Honest Ed's. That will complete round 2. So for round 3, I'll probably just go through this round here, then go off camera for a while as I level up the characters, and then come back when I'm ready to take on one of the plot missions. So go ahead and start with Sheena going up here to deal with this agent. So I'll flip that over. You can see we need a green and a red on her die to take care of that agent. And her dice pool is 2 greens, 2 blacks, and a purple. So we'll see what we can get here. So the 2 greens, I'm going to head and turn that in to get us our red that we need. And then roll again, needing just 1 green. And unfortunately, now I've got 2 wounds and only 1 to block. So she is going to become injured. And that is going to stop her run. So she is stuck there. Nothing else will happen. And that agent is free to roam. Down at the athletic field, I went ahead and moved our initiation out from the end of the last turn. For 2,000, we can get tailored pheromones to give us a red die. So we will go ahead and move Sauron down there. Pay the 2,000. And add that to his character card. Now at max, each character can only have 3 upgrades on them. And if the character were to die, these will go away. So it's not like gear that if the character dies, we can swap that on to someone else. We'll take Sledge, send him to the top of the Senator. Since he is a street samurai character, he can use the ability to remove any 1 agent and take that back to the pool. So we'll take this agent and mix that back into our agent pool. Then we'll move the Neon Tusk up here so she can buy some equipment at half price. So for 4,000, we'll be able to give this to our Street Samurai to give him 2 green dice. So we'll get him leveled up a little better. We're not ready to attempt any Black Lodge missions. We don't have any missions of our own to run. So upkeep. Our people will come back home. We'll flip our injured token over to recovering. So that's going to restrict her on what she can do on her turn. Discard the unpurchased cards and replace all the cards on the board. So we've got Turbo Bunny. Rigger Interface. And our next mission, Liberty or Death for 20K. And we'll cycle our unique deck, losing the data jack, and finding a control rig. So far, gaining influence, there's no agents on the board, so that still won't go up. And then we'll get our next event card. Take all face-up agents on the game board, shuffle them, and return the same number to each location, face down. And then we'll take 1 agent to put on this location. And that's over at the tower defense area. All right, so I'll come back in a few turns and see how we've progressed. All right, so I'm a couple turns further in the game. I've replaced a couple agents down here, and now have Smedley as my face man, and I've got him carrying Crazy Katie's FN Mag 5. And my Turbo Bunny has been upgraded a little bit. She has a comm link now, 1 die of choice of the available dice pool. So basically, she'll allow me to get 5 purple dice, and we'll see what happens there when we become a master of one of our cards. And I also have a Dream Link on her, which will give us 1 reroll per mission. So first, I'm just going to take Turbo Bunny over to the interrogate location, so we can place matching roll icons on unrevealed Black Lodge plot missions. We can see from this one, we need 2 greens, 2 purples, and a red. And unfortunately, to get our 2 greens and 2 purples, we're wasting a few symbols. So we need to add a red, and that will flip this card over. All the single agent tokens will be removed from the game, and the other tokens will be shuffled back into the pool. So now for a plot mission, we'll send Sheena over here to reserve a spot to go after this card. Smedley will go up to Honest Ed's, and for 6,000, purchase the Roadmaster that we can attach to Turbo Bunny. And lastly, we've got Sauron. We'll take him to the top of the center to deal with an agent token needing a black and blue. So his dice pool, 2 black, 2 green, a red, and a blue. So we'll see how this battle goes. So right off the bat, we've got an injury and just 1 success. So we'll go ahead and just block that and roll again. So on this roll, we'll cover up the injury there. We'll bank a blue for this. Now we just need 1 success for the black die. And we have that, so we've defeated this agent. And because of his type, we'll use his blue ability. Return 1 of your agents to the pool and draw a random agent. So since we've got 2 with the same icon, we'll return that to the pool. Randomize, whoops. Try to randomize these a little bit. And then pick another agent for us. And then we enter our first step to attempt a Black Lodge plot mission. So in this, the first one, we're going to need 4 greens, 4 purples. Second one is 10 greens. Then, well, you can see what we need the rest. And if we succeed, we'll be able to reveal all agents in 1 location, which doesn't affect us. I've been keeping the agents at bay. They only have 1 influence right now. And for these missions, if we don't complete all of them, we can put a progress bar over top of them. So the next time it's attempted, we don't have to start at the beginning. So let's see how far we can go. We're going to take all our runners with us this time. Our bunny has 5 purple and 2 black dice, and the ability to bring 1 additional die of her choice in. And whenever one of your characters has 5 dice, you can take 2 dice out, 1 on the blank side, and pretty much bank just 1 success. Sheena will be bringing 6 greens, 2 blacks, and a purple, so she'll do the same thing and bank a green success. Smedley is coming in with 2 black and 2 red dice. And Sauron will be coming in with 2 black, 2 greens, 2 reds, and a blue. So we'll take all these dice and give them a roll and see what happens. If I can fit them all in my hand. All right. So we'll separate the blanks and the wounds and our successes. So we're looking for 4 purples and 4 greens. So with the help of these, we've got 3 greens and 1 purple. And we'd like to block 5 damage. So fortunately on these bigger ones, there is a chart we can use that comes with markers so we can mark our progress so far. So we currently have 3 greens and 1 purple on our first roll. So we'll go back to the cards banked, or dice banked. Get the others out of the way and go to roll number 2. Separate the good from the bad, from the mediocre. So we've got our green success already on the end here. Got another purple success. And we can use these duplicates to get us our other 2 purples. So we've succeeded the first row. Now we can go on to the second, needing a whole lot of green. So we put a progress token on that first stage. And now we need nothing but green. Do all the separating here. That's a lot of wounds. So we've got 5 wounds showing. 4 successes. We'll use the success on the outside here to block all the wounds and bank 1 green success for this mission. So we need 9 more with 2 more rolls. Oops. Replace that purple die that jumped ship. Alrighty. A lot more successes this time. Well, still got 5 negatives. We're definitely going to keep the greens here. So we'll block 1 out with that one. 2 more there. And 2 more there. That will get us a total of, we'll use these 2 to get another one. So we've got a total of 5 more to our mix. So we're up to 6. So 1 roll to go. We need 4 more greens. And that's not a whole lot of greens I see showing. But fortunately, just 2 wounds that I see. So we'll see what we've, oops, 3 wounds. Not worried about getting people injured this round. So there's 3 more that we needed. And we can use this for our 4th one. And then we can block all that damage. So that's another progress taken down. And now we need 2 reds and 4 purples for this next round. So same dice pool, no one's been taken out yet. A whole lot of blanks. Oops, that was a success. That's good, only 1 wound there. So reds and purples are what we're shooting for. So because of the banked ones, we've got, put these on the side so you can see those better. So we've got 3 purples showing and 1 red. We can use this blue to cancel that injury. Then we'll make these two into a red. So we've got our 2 reds now and 3 purples. So on this next roll, unless we roll a whole lot of injuries, we will get our free purple. So not too many blanks. Whole lot of injuries. Shouldn't have said something. Just 8 injuries to take care of. So 2, 4, 6, 8. So we can block all those injuries and use our 1 purple to finish off this progress bar. And then for the last progress bar, we need 2 blacks, 4 greens, and 2 purple. So 3 rolls. Moving our blanks to the side. So go ahead and use our red to cancel the wound. Got 2 purples showing. Got 4 greens showing. And then 4 blacks. So we only need 2 blacks. Got 2 purples, which is what we needed, and 4 greens. And so we have succeeded at defeating the Black Lodge. Hope you enjoyed this playthrough. So please click on the like button below and be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching.